Welcome back. Today's Friday, Philosophy Friday. So the last couple weeks I have written scripts for Friday, for Philosophy Friday. I generally, throughout the week or during a conversation I have with somebody, something triggers me and I write it down, and it's an idea or a thought or a philosophy that I want to follow through and really think about. Is this true for me? Is this a way of thinking that maybe solves a problem for me or influences my own beliefs? And where did those beliefs come from? Were they given to me, or were they something that I formulated? Is it true for me? And so all of these things, I think, are the value of philosophy, are the value of seeing another's way of seeing that expands our own, that maybe solves a problem, that maybe allows us to get out of our own way so that we can see more clearly, or see something as it is rather than through the lens of emotion or past or whatever it is, conflict. The last couple weeks you have noticed that I haven't produced a lot of videos. I got back from YouTube and was super inspired, and then had some stuff happen last week that really set me back and made me take stock of what's going on in my life, what's important in my life, what direction I'm going. And I read somewhere recently that every few years you should spend time with yourself, being alone, thinking about your life. Something that very few of us have the luxury, or take the luxury, or make luxury to do, and to just be quiet and contemplate your time here, this one precious life that we have been given. So this past week I've been very introspective, and I haven't felt that I have anything to give, which isn't true, and I know that it's not true, and I don't mean to say that and discredit in any way those of you who have written in and shared yourselves so purely and so fully with me. And I know that this channel has made a difference for some of you, because I've received letters that are the nicest things I've ever read, that made me laugh and cry and feel humbled by what you see here. And it just reminds me why I love doing this so much, and why this has been the most rewarding career I've ever had. I've done some really cool, amazing, wonderful, eclectic, weird things in my life, but this trumps them all, and it's because of you. So if you didn't share yourselves with me, just me talking to a camera would be pointless. But thank you for making me see myself through different lenses, through many lenses. That has been the most rewarding endeavor I've ever participated in. And this is the first time in history that we've been able to put something out there, to put ourselves out there, and immediately have feedback from other people, whether it's information, whatever, answers, evaluations, solutions. It's been remarkable that we're able to do this and connect in this way. You know, there's been a lot of studies on social media, and they've looked at the negative elements where people are able to create a public persona, a facade, and project the facade, and it creates distance in us. It makes us feel disconnected because the two aren't resonant. There's space between what we want to be or how we want others to perceive us and what we are. But I think that's more telling of the researchers than the actual research and what's really happening between people, because you get out of life what you put into it. So if you put yourself out there, the potential to connect, the potential to have our lives merged, infused, altered, enhanced by each other is limitless. A couple years ago, a year and a half ago, when I started these videos, my brother said to me, "You will learn more about yourself than you ever knew possible." And I questioned that statement because I've spent my whole life looking inward, looking at my actions, my behavior, my life, how I affect other people, how I affect change. What are my barriers for myself? Because generally we're our own worst enemy, as far as we limit our potential more than anybody else around us. We can blame other people, but that blame is our doing, and that is us in our own way. From what I've found, people are more than willing to help you, and they do. If you open your heart and you live truthfully. So my truth is that this week I haven't felt like I have anything to offer. And I know that's not true. I know that the letters that I've received over the last couple of weeks, some of them have been the most touching, heartfelt letters I've ever received. So I know that the channel is making a difference, that you're able to see through my lens, and it's changed the way you view your life, or you view how you feed yourself, or your relationships with others. For me, there is no greater compliment. There's no better gift than the gift of telling somebody that they've had a positive impact on your life. So thank you for that. Some of you I feel so connected to, it's irrelevant that I haven't touched you or hugged you or looked into your eyes, because your words resonate so clearly and so honestly that I love you immediately because of your courage to just be who you are, which is more beautiful than anything. So having said that, I've just needed time to recharge a little bit. Glenn and I this week, we went up to Ulali Lake in the Central Oregon mountains, and it's right on the border of the Jefferson Wilderness area. It's beautiful. It's a pristine little lake. They don't even want you to swim in it. There's a couple cabins along it, and they pull their water from the lake. But it's high. I don't know what the elevation is, maybe like 5,000 feet. And it's been 100 and over 100 down here in the valley, in high 90s for several weeks. And for a mountain girl like me, that is unbearable. I get sloth-like, and yeah, I feel like a flower in my garden, just like, oh, wilting. So we disconnected for a few days, took the camper up there, and there's no cell service, there's no electronic devices. I am a reader for myself, but I'm also my husband's reader. He does not read himself, but he's very well read because I read to him. So when we go away, I always try to take a book that would interest him as well, and something that is rooted in the experience, whether it be geographically or kind of situationally. And so since we were going to a lake, I brought Thoreau's Walden, which I'm surprised that I have not read this book before now. The Walden doesn't resonate with a lot of people because it comes across very cynical. But if you don't take other people's words personally and you listen to the message, you're able to not hear so much the tone, but see from somebody's point of view. And it allows us to practice empathy in a way that's very magical, because you can read something that's very happy, very enlightening. You can read something that's very cynical, very subjective, and you can pull out and discern the language or the point of view of the writer. So we were reading, I was reading Walden, and Thoreau, basically the concept of the story is, and it's an introspective look into life and how we enslave ourselves. Thoreau uses a really interesting example of drinking coffee or tea. These things he sees as a luxury because he's living near a pond in a house that he built, a small cabin. He's growing his own food, and so to buy coffee, to buy tea, that's a privilege. And in order to do so, you would have to work more, which to have more, you have to give more. And at what point do you give away your life in exchange for things, in exchange for coffee or tea in this case? So having read that, oh, somebody's here. I might have to stop this for a minute, but having read that, in that time where I was feeling depleted as an introvert, that's a very social person, I have to recharge a lot of times because I can't give if I don't give fully, and I can't give fully if I don't feel full. And for me to be able to recharge, it's generally solitary or with one person that I love and am very close to. So we're away in this beautiful setting, recharging, reading, just being together, eating good food, going out into the lake on the paddle boards. And it was very, very much needed. And when I came home, there was a whole slew of comments that I got to read from you guys that touched me so deeply, and I just want to thank you, because sometimes I feel like if I don't have something good to give you, I'm not just going to put something up. If it's not going to enrich your life in some meaningful way, I'm not going to do it. Oh, 1 minute. Okay, where was I? I was talking about something about meaning. This is the beautiful part of working from home, and the very challenging part is I'm here, and people know I'm here. And over the last 5 hours, I've had 3 people come by, and I love that. I love that friends will just stop by when they want to talk, and I never want my work to ever interrupt that. Sometimes I can't, especially if I'm doing something food related and I'm halfway in. I'll generally just try to reschedule for later that night. But today, just doing this Philosophy Friday and needing the recharge and needing the love that was just available and showed up on my door. I welcomed each one of them in, and we had time outside and time together, and it was wonderful. Anyway, so I'm not just going to make videos to put something up. It's got to be something that's meaningful. It's got to be something that I feel is worth your time and worth my own time. So that's where I am. This week has been one of those things I just can't seem to be inspired. I can't seem to shake this kind of solitude and solitary feeling that I have. So hopefully putting this video out there, and I'll be recharged and be able to shut that door and walk through a new one. Thank you for being here, and I will see you hopefully in a couple days, the most. Have a safe and happy 4th of July for all of you Americans, and be careful with the fireworks. I have a personally vested in keeping our firefighters safe, as my brother is one, and he's been gone a lot, so I want to keep him and his colleagues, his fellow firefighters, with their families this weekend if we can. So be mindful of your flames. Thank you. Bye.